The fate of Frederick Russell is now in the hands of a jury. Russell is accused of causing a 2001 crash near Pullman that killed 3 WSU students. Our Erik Loney live in Kelso tonight. Erik, a jury has a question for the judge.
They did actually. They just moments ago asked the judge if they could see some evidence that was in the trial, but the judge said no, since that evidence wasn't put into evidence, and so he just sent them home for the day. They'll be back here again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Now, all day today, they had closing arguments in the case where Russell's attorneys compared Russell to the man in the movie The Fugitive, saying he's an innocent man accused of a crime he did not commit. But prosecutors say this is not Hollywood and Fred Russell is guilty.
The defendant chose to drink far too much alcohol that night.
Prosecutor Lana Wyman told the jury that Fred Russell was the reason Brandon Clements, Ryan Sorensen, and Stacy Moreau are dead, that he bought a half-gallon of vodka that night and got drunk, and then chose to speed down the Moscow-Pullman highway trying to pass a no-passing zone, and he caused the fatal 4-car crash.
The defendant purchased and put together the recipe for disaster that night.
Prosecutors said Russell ran and hid in Ireland because he knew if he stayed, he was headed to prison.
And the defendant needs to hear from you that when your actions and the choices you make kill innocent people, that you don't get to run from the law. You get held accountable under the law. Thank you.
Russell's attorney, Francisco Duarte, told the jury that Russell was not to blame for the crash. The State Patrol failed to investigate what happened in the moments before the wreck.
What kept the Blazer from being in its lane? They didn't look into that at all. They didn't. Instead, they assumed what happened and moved forward from that moment and told the world about that from that moment.
Duarte blamed the crash on another driver, arguing R.J. Hart forced Russell into oncoming traffic seconds before the collision. Hart testified during the trial that he'd pulled off the highway to get out of Russell's way and admitted leaving the scene of the crash before police arrived because he had to get to work.
Why did he flee from the scene of the accident?
Duarte said Hart left because he needed time to come up with a story for police.
And he fabricated what happened.
Blaming Robert Hart is all the defendant has left now.
Prosecutors concluded by reminding the jury that Hart was not the one on trial.
They've said he fled, and that proves he's guilty of this crime. Really? But the defendant's not guilty because he fled all the way to Ireland?
Now again, the jury will be back at deliberations tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Reporting live in Kelso, Washington, Erik Loney, KXLY4.